Greetings, dear viewers. We are happy to welcome you on the international discussion dedicated to the global conference which took place on the 4th of December and was called Global Crisis: Time for the Truth.
Yes, greetings. This global conference was organized by volunteers from 180 countries. It was simultaneously interpreted also by volunteers into more than 100 languages. And these discussions were about, let's say, the vital topics that affect nearly everyone living on our planet today. And as a result, or as a follow-up of this conference, the volunteers decided to organize these discussion tables where we invite our dear guests who participated on the conference or who basically were helping us gathering some facts so that we can cover also the topics that didn't have the chance to be discussed on the conference. And so today, our dear guests with us are Dr. Jeff Masters. He's a PhD. Dr. Jeff Masters worked as a hurricane scientist with NOAA Hurricane Hunters. He's a co-founder of the Weather Underground and a founding board member of the Climate Science Legal Defense Fund from the United States. And our second guest is Aftab Alam. He's a student of political science and international relations from Pakistan. So welcome, and we can begin.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And we would like to start from talking about your impressions, your feedbacks about the conference. So maybe you, Dr. Masters, would like to share your impressions, would like to share your thoughts about the importance of the topics raised on this conference.
Yeah, certainly the number of extreme weather events we've seen this year in 2021 have really added some urgency to understanding what's going on and to start putting together solutions to what needs to be done. It's clear now that we're in a totally new climate. I mean, the climate of the 21st century is so different than the climate of the 20th century that we're going to have trouble adapting. I mean, we designed our infrastructure to deal with a climate that no longer exists. And now we're getting much heavier precipitation events like we saw in Europe this summer with the catastrophic flooding we had there. China had its third most expensive flood on record this year. In the United States, we had a Hurricane Ida, which generated just incredible flooding in New York City that we've never seen before. So all of these flood events tell us that we're in a new climate. Heavy precipitation events are going to continue to intensify and cause trouble in our transportation sector, our agriculture sector. And at the same time, when it doesn't happen to be raining, when you don't have those low pressure systems impacting you, the resulting heat waves and droughts that are going to be occurring are going to be more intense. Heat is energy, and energy in the form of heat will serve to make your droughts more intense and your heat waves more intense. And energy in the form of heat over the oceans will evaporate more water from the oceans to generate heavier rainfall events. So we kind of get the worst of both worlds. I mean, a warmer climate is a more energetic climate. And we're seeing that play out with the extreme weather disasters that we saw in 2021, both heat waves, droughts, and floods.
Well, thank you. This is, I would say, a great sum up of the events that we are facing today, and they have been voiced also on the conference, and we are going to touch upon these in more details later on. And I would also like to ask Aftab. Aftab, you have been actively participating in preparation of the conference and helped with translation of the videos. Can you also share your thoughts and understandings from the conference, please? Thank you.
First of all, I'm very thankful to the entire guest members, participant, and all of the people. Being a student of international relation and international politics, in my career from my graduation to PhD study, this is the first conference which I have attended. And I share all of the activities and translation with my people in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And the people appreciate it, that because the creative society is the society which think about these problems, which in the entire world, not the developing country, but also developed countries also facing nowadays. And just a few days ago, some schools and colleges and universities were the students were stopped from the school because the government announced that it is very difficult for the students and for the university and college students to come to university because of a huge smog in the city of Lahore in Pakistan. So it affects not only the people, but the students also are more affected by that. So for the last 10 or 15 days, the school is not closed in Pakistan because of the pandemic, Corona, but because of the climate issue. So in near future, it is going to dangerous more, and especially in developing countries. They are already facing different types of problems, the problems of terrorism, corruption, governmental structure, so many things. But the climate change, it is a disaster for the developing countries. And recently, I am also working research on the transboundary waters between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And this is also in near future, it's a big problem for the people of Pakistan and Afghanistan because for the last 100 years they are using the water of the Kabul water, the river Kabul water, but without any agreement. And it's very much difficult because of the climate issue that how they will resolve the issue, because on both sides the people need water. And they for fresh drinking water and so many, but it's very much difficult for the government now because of the climate issue, that how we can resolve the issue, because on both sides the people need water, and this is the only river which connects Pakistan and Afghanistan. So that's why the conference, my experience, the creative society done a lot. And it is a great honor for me, being a student of international relations and being a student of a developing country, Pakistan, that I can participate in this conference, and I share the views of the world in my Pashto language with my people. And thank you so much for your appreciation and your help.
Thank you so much, Aftab. You know, it is very important for every person who already see this climate changes, who already know all these things that affects us, without, you know, just with any circumstance we live in. It doesn't matter in what country and so on. So we all can see these consequences. And we can feel how it affects us. But actually, we would like to speak a bit more, to talk a bit more about the current situation in the world. And we know that, unfortunately, on the 10th of December, a tornado hit the 8 states of North America, which brought huge destruction and claimed the lives of dozens of people, and especially was damaged the state of Kentucky. It was, just the hardest hit for it. And we know that it is the strongest hurricane in the history of the state. So please, dear Dr. Masters, could you outline the current situation as a specialist and as a person?
Yeah, sure. I was watching the storm Friday, and in my 40 years as a meteorologist, there aren't too many things that shock me, but that was definitely a shocking event, because the tornado that did the most damage there stayed on the ground for as long as we've ever seen a tornado do. I mean, usually they only last a minute or two. This one was on the ground for over 2 hours. And at that time, it was at peak strength pretty much the whole time. So it was doing catastrophic destruction. And we can see these sorts of storms in the spring, which is tornado season, but to see it in December, that was really, really astounding to me because it's wintertime and normally you don't have the energy in the atmosphere needed to generate a tornado in the winter. So that really speaks to how climate change has changed the environment in which all weather forms. I mean, it didn't used to be you could get a violent tornado in December like this, but now you can. So tornado season lasts all year long, not just in the spring. And that creates a lot of problems which our society is not designed for. In particular, this tornado happened at night. I mean, in December, you've got very short days and long nights, and people are much more vulnerable to a tornado at night because they don't see it coming. They might be asleep. And so the death tolls are always much higher during wintertime tornadoes. So it's simply a stunning weather event that I was very surprised to see and alarmed that this is the kind of thing that maybe we're going to see a lot more of in the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And can I also ask a question? So you've been following these events. How does the government and people deal with these sort of events? Are they ready? Is the government or organizations ready to really help people, or are the people left alone to help themselves? How do you see?
Certainly in the few days after the disaster, there's a lot of help available. This is a very high profile event, so a lot of attention is on it. The president is coming today to visit the affected area, so there will be a lot of resources brought to bear. The fact it happened in December is fortunate in a way because there aren't that many other natural disasters to compete with. I mean, the summertime is usually when you have major natural disasters in our country because you have hurricanes and floods and tornadoes are all active during that time. So there will be a lot of help for these people. And it's unfortunate it's happened in winter here because the requirements for shelter are so extreme when it's cold out. But I do think that the response is going to be pretty much in line with what is required.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, and also would like to ask Aftab the same question. If we look at, let's say, these disasters happening in other countries, and what is your opinion? Are the governments ready to help people during the time of these natural disasters, and what solutions are taken elsewhere?
Yes. Mostly the government are working to contain this were disasters, but it depends on the policies of the government, that what kind of policy they are adopting to contain. Because if you look to the entire scenario of the world, so the developing countries of the South African region, the South Asian region, all of these states are very much vulnerable to the global climate change. But if you, when you compare their economic position with that of the developed world, so how the government alone can contain the developing countries, their governments, how they can contain this huge disaster. So it's difficult for them to contain this alone. Every day there are some cases in the news and in different research journals, the professors, and they are publishing about the disasters in the South Asian or in developing countries. So for that purpose, it needs a united policy, which is not for a particular, but the whole world states. They combine and they make a policy for this to contain these disasters in near future. And one state are alone, it's difficult for one state to contain such a huge disaster, because it's not the problem of a particular state, it's the problem of world, it's problem of this planet, it's the problem of this universe. So to control this, it is important that the entire world government machineries, they are combined, and they can, just like United Nations and the forum of that they can unite and make a organization for the climate to contain the climate issues.
Yes, thank you so much. It is true that we really need to be all united. And when we are talking about politicians and some big international organizations, we surely wait something from them always. We wait some solutions, and we are waiting for maybe for them to unite, to be more united. But we also understand that they are the same people as all of us. And we all need to unite, even for those politicians to unite. It is us, the whole humanity, let's say, that we need to, we need to show our necessity of being united. We need to start uniting between every one of us. So this is why we are organizing these conferences, not only to show these terrible things that are happening in our world, but to give the solution, and the solution that comes from people now. Yes, that it is not like someone formed it and tries to impose it or something like that. This is what really people came to in this search of the solution. And we know that today still there are some people that they just first of all, they just don't know what is happening in the world, because we can't see everything on our screens of our televisions and so on, and it is hard to know what is really going on. And also this is the aim of this conferences that people are organizing today, all these volunteers from the whole world, to show the truth. And we understand that there are lots of consequences that we don't see of this climate crisis. Yes, there are people that, who can say that, well, I don't see it in my let's say city, for example. I don't see it in my home. I'm okay, and I don't think that it is something outstanding or something just abnormal. But actually we can talk about the consequences, and we already can tell everyone that this really affects everyone. We found the article of Dr. Masters on December the 6th. You wrote about the global food prices, and you said that that extreme weather is a key factor in high food prices. Could you please extend a bit on the topic to show people that it really concerns and affects everyone, and we should be aware of it?
Certainly. The global food situation is such that every year we make more food than the previous year, pretty much. Over the past 60 years, agricultural technology has really advanced due to new strains of grains that have been developed that are more productive, improvements in fertilizer use, pesticide use, irrigation. The amount of food that's harvested this year is going to set a record. It's about 1% higher than last year. And that is needed because the global population is increasing. But at some point, we're meeting up against a lot of issues here, because more people are eating meat now, particularly in China, which drives up food prices. We've got a pandemic going on that's driving up food prices. The cost of fuel and energy is very high right now, which is also contributing to high food prices. So this year, global food prices are currently at their highest level in 46 years, since the mid-1970s. So that leaves us very vulnerable to, like Anna was saying, if you've got a extreme weather shock, a drought most likely, or potentially a flood in a major grain producing area, then that could drive food prices to a level where now people can't afford to buy food in some parts of the developing world. We saw this back in 2011 in the wake of the Russian and Ukraine heat wave. Incredible heat wave in 2010 made the wheat prices go through the roof, and Russia stopped exporting wheat. Global wheat prices exploded, And we ended up with civil unrest and multiple revolutions in the Arab world. It was called the Arab Spring. So you saw at least 3 governments topple and rioting in a bunch of places because of high food prices. And right now, food prices are even higher than they were then. So we're at a very vulnerable situation. And I'm concerned in 2022 that with the ongoing pandemic, food prices are at a point where we really can't afford to see a huge heat wave someplace or massive flooding that interrupts grain supplies. I'm concerned that we're going to have a situation where, once again, an Arab Spring type situation will result, where there'll be mass unrest, potentially starvation as well, famine, because we won't be able to feed everybody. So this is the number one threat of climate change right now in the next few or 10 years or so. It's multiple extreme weather events causing global food prices to spike to a point where now we can't feed everybody. And the vulnerability is only going to increase in coming years because the weather is going to get more extreme and we're going to get more vulnerable. There's population increases, more people eating meat, and it's all going to cause a crisis, I think, that we've never seen the likes of. So that's not a very cheerful thing to say, but it's the reality. And certainly there are a lot of people working very hard to reduce our vulnerability. There's a lot of great research being done to develop higher yielding grains. There's a lot of technology going into trying to grow food more efficiently. Certainly, genetic engineering is attempting to improve the process of actually photosynthesis to grow more beneficial grains. But that is a problem because a lot of people don't accept genetically modified foods. That will have trouble with acceptance in a lot of countries. So huge problem. We're working hard on solutions, and we just have to be ready to anticipate that this all could blow up and be a very serious global crisis due to extreme weather triggered by climate change.
Yeah. In one of our
the energy revolution happening now with clean energy.
Basically, for my, the people must also. Children, that are you going to school? He told me that no, I'm not going to school. So I told the what's you are working. He told me that I'm bringing water, fresh water from the town to my village for my home and for my the rest of the people. So the question is that if the government is, again, the situation in Afghanistan, you people know better about that for the last 40, 50 years, they are in conflict situation with the Soviet Union, the United States, and then again the Taliban. And so all of these issues, so how the people of Afghanistan can contain the issue of climate change. Second, that how there is still no government in Afghanistan. The Taliban have made the government, but the people have not trusted. The people don't have trust on them. Mostly the people don't trust on them. So how they can connect? It is important for to become a democratic state. Before that the people have the right to talk about their issues. They have right to make decisions for their own self. They have right to speak freely. If the people have no such type of rights, so how they can connect with the government and make the policy? So it is important before that the people and government must be on one page to contain any issue, any problem. So in the Kabul river issue, in 2010 there was a huge flood, and millions of people on both sides they were affected by the climate issue because of that flood. So at local the people were fighting with each other because the river diverted their area increase in some area, they increase their location or their strength, and in some areas on the other side, in Afghanistan side, their areas or their weight is low. So they are claiming on both sides, the people claiming that the area which is on your side, this is our land. Because so the people say that no, it is because of the climate change, it is because of the flood, why we gave you this. So this is the problems. And at local level, there is no policy with the government. If there is no government, then how they can make the policy for the people? So before that it is important for the people, that for the government, that they can make a policies. First, they connect with the people, make a democratic structure, and on the basis of that, they united and identify the problem and then make the solution for these problems. So it is important for that context.
Thank you so much, dear guests, for your opinions. It is really important for us, for everyone, I mean, to hear each other, to know what do we like, this humanity, the whole humanity, what do we think about the world we live in, how we see the world we want to live in. And here is the situation that we have lots of crises, different crises in almost every sphere of our lives, but actually we understand that we all are responsible for it, yes, and we should just also understand that maybe, well, even if someone of us is trying to change the situation, but it is so hard because we are so divided, and we are divided in groups, in countries, and so on. And we just now came to this understanding, and we are continuing this this process of understanding the thing that how it is important for every one of us to be united, to unite all our potential, scientific, all our human potential, to be able to survive, you know, in all this crisis, and especially in climate change. But I just would like to invite everyone to watch the short video from the conference Global Crisis Time for the Truth, which shows us the format of our society where we live in, and the only solution we have today.
Humanity, various races, nationalities, religions, but we are all sailing in the same boat in this ocean of life. And the course of all-absorbing consumerism, which our common ship has taken today, is leading us to precipice. Just a little longer, and we will irreversibly fall into the abyss of economic, social, and climate catastrophes. Perhaps someone doesn't want to see and admit obvious facts, yet being afraid to turn around and see the reality. In the endless rush, in the ordinary everyday routine, in the race for success and survival in this world of consumerism. But every day, more and more people stop and ask themselves these questions. Where is this world coming to? What does the future hold for me and my children? How can I make sure that the world will be a safe, happy, and prosperous place? After all, no matter how successful you are, if the whole world is falling apart, there is no way you can avoid a bitter fate. We can change the course of our ship, which is speeding into the abyss, and instead of the abyss of consumption, steer it in the direction of the creative society. But we can do this only together. We need to unite our collective human potential, become a united civilization, and row in one direction. Uniting in a common goal, we need to direct our attention, our efforts, our knowledge, and our skills to charting a new course. And how quickly we can do this depends on the choice of each person. Our salvation is only in our unity. Only by working together can we build a truly decent world. A world that will have a future for us and our children. And that is the creative society. We still have a chance. So let's take it.
Yes, as we've seen in the videos, we are at the edge of, we can say, one of the most, the biggest crisis in history. Some people say that people don't unite unless there is a crisis. However, the aim of all of the participants of creative society, it is to ensure that we can unite or provide the conditions that people can unite even before this crisis happen, until we have time, you know. And I would like to ask Dr. Masters, what do you think, what can we do to inform all of the people? I mean, to tell them the truth and to unite before it is too late.
The most important thing any citizen can do, a citizen of the world, is to share your knowledge that you're getting from conferences like this and educate people. I mean, if you're interested enough to be watching this, you know quite a bit about the climate crisis, and we really need education. There are so many ignorant people out there who don't understand the magnitude of where we're at and where we're headed. So the more you can engage others to understand what's going on and to take action to support leaders that will do something about it, the better off we will be. So electing leaders or supporting leaders that are going to do something about it, educating others to help get those leaders in place, or becoming a leader yourself. Go out, run for office, go out and make a difference. All these things are needed, and you can do something to make us have a better world going forward.
Yes, you're so right. And also about the leaders, because really, I think that every one of us can become this leader in the sense of just be responsible, you know, be responsible for your own actions, for what you're doing, why you're doing. And in this one goal for the whole humanity, we could be all like really like leaders who just having this one goal to evaluate like like one civilization, one united civilization, and to really to survive all these things that are happening with the climate and with everything, with violence, with hunger, with all this terrific things that are happening in this consumer format. We all can be the leader who change the situation by changing ourselves, changing our lives, and changing our actions. I also would like to ask, dear Mr. Alan, what do you think about the importance for every person to be this responsible citizen of the world, and to be courageous, and not to be afraid to speak up? Because when we are silent, when knowing the truth, we are not talking about it, we are not we don't transmit it to other people, or maybe we just don't want to see this truth. We just want to close our eyes and say that I knew nothing, but actually we always we can feel that there's something is happening, and even if we don't see something. So what do you think, how important it is for people to be like, real heroes who are telling the truth nowadays to everyone?
Yes, people in everywhere in the entire world, they can change, they can bring change. But if they united without religion, without any custom, tradition, and race, when the people united, so they can bring change and they can make the governments and they compel the governments and the leaders that they can take initiatives and positive response and make positive policies. But it is important, and the creative society is doing a lot for that. That this is a forum on the basis of which the world is coming to unite. And I hope within coming few months, the entire world will be under the umbrella of the creative society. But the important thing that the sir told, that education is very much important. Education play a very important role in this context. It is very much important that the creative society takes some initiatives inside the school, college, and university level, and they can the people of the volunteers in which who are working with the creative society, are being the part of society, they inform and they can work for that educate the people about the issue of climate change from the forum of creative society. So when this voice will reach to the every school, every college, every university, so then there is no one to stop the change. So it is important. Otherwise, if we can't bring change, so the world will make, the world will bring, the planet will change us. And at that time, we have no time. When the world or the planet bring change, it is important that we, because we are not here just for living, but we are here just to live a good life and think about and understand this world. That's why we are here. So if we bring such awareness, not in a particular forum, but start from our own self, from our own brother, sister, from our own home, then university, colleges, and one day it will change. It is important that we must start from ourselves, and when we make something for this planet, we work for this planet, so people will look toward us, and one day they will this creative society, they will rock.
Yes, thank you, Aftab. And I fully agree with you that it is essential for the people to be informed, to be well educated, because only based on the education, based on information, we can do a decision. We can do our choice to not be passive anymore, but start to act. And even by informing other peoples, we are already acting, actually. And that's why, dear viewers, our honored guests, I would like to invite everyone to watch once again the conference, that happened on December the 4th, because it is full of information and scientific evidence of what is going on. But not only that, but also what are the outcomes of the current situation, that provides a whole picture based on which we can make this decision. And also, I would like to encourage everyone, if you have got any comments, any questions, any proposals, just feel free to drop us an email at info@creativesociety.com. You can also contact us via, Instagram or Twitter, and we'll be happy to include your comments, questions into the next roundtables, into the discussions with our honored guests, and who will be happy to answer them or address them.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, our dear guests, for coming, for, just having this time together, to spend this time together talking about the most important things which really concerns every person. And thanks to our dear viewers also, well, to everyone. I just want to remind that when we are talking about volunteers who are organizing all these discussions, conferences, we mean that it is not like one organization, one group of people. We are called volunteers because we are doing it because we want to change the world, because we want to live happily, we want to live like one whole united family. We need this evolution for everyone, and we know how to do it. We people came to the solution, and we need just to share it with everyone so that everyone could have this possibility to choose in what world we want to live. And I am sure that there's no one who would say that he or she doesn't want to live in the creative society, because the 8 foundation of creative society are those foundations that really construct our humane life. Yes, and so just join the Creative Society project. I invite everyone to join us, to tell the truth, and to surely share the information with everyone you know, because this is our mission as the humanity today, to be united and as one civilization, to survive and even evaluate. This is our time for the truth. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you on the next international discussions.